G'day everybody. I hope you all enjoyed your summer break. Anyway, I'm down here at the clubhouse and I've got something interesting to show you today. This is something you won't normally see in our clubhouse, but we've just had a delivery of a motorbike. And yes, you would have guessed it's a side cart motorbike. Now, I'm sure that there are a couple of you that may have recognised some of the bits, like the tank and whatever, but for those that don't know too much about the old side cart bikes, I'll explain to you what it is. This is actually a bike from the Cold War. It's called the Ural. Now, the Ural was a bike that was a licensed originally copy of the BMW before World War II. Now, due to World War II, Germany pulled the rights off Russia and said, no, you can't make our bike anymore. And they bombed their factory. But what they didn't realise is that the Russians were a little bit smarter than the Germans at the time, and what they did is they had pulled all the tooling out and they had put it in a factory up in the mountains, and that's where it got its name, the Ural, and they continued making them for quite some years. Now, this is a late 60s bike. It's the K750M. The M stands for military. Now, as you can see that this is not a military colour. At some stage it was painted, but the wheels were still the original colour. So we're going to have to colour match that paint and paint the frame and bring it back to its former glory. I'll just pan back over here to show you the motor. Very similar to a aeroplane engine or a Volkswagen engine. As I said before, this is a 750cc, and I look forward to showing you the restoration process. The first part of restoring and putting back together a bike like this, when it comes from overseas, is to start pulling all the bits and putting them apart and away from each other, and noticing if there's anything broken. Like I've got a broken engine mount here, so I've got to order one of them. And believe it or not, you can buy parts for these relatively easily from overseas. So I'm going to ruffle through these boxes and see what's here and what's not. So there you have day one. We have a frame that's ready to be pulled down a little bit more and get repainted. Side cart sitting well in its frame, but everything else seems to be there. So apart from the work of rubbing down and cleaning up and whatever, should be pretty easy assembly. We're going to have to get a couple of mufflers for it, as they're a little bit of Swiss cheese and a couple of cables as well, just to make it usable. Now, the engine was apparently rebuilt for us overseas. Now, you can't say too much because this was done in a village. There's a little village in the Ukraine and they don't have much there, so they did what they could. So don't look at the alloy being cleaned properly and stuff like that, but we'll take care of that, no issue there, before we put the engine in anyway. So there's part one for you. We look forward to bringing you some of the videos of the actual restoration process.